It's been said that the definition of insanity is repeating a task over and over and expecting a different outcome. In DMZ, the definition of insanity might just be a solo regain on Ashika. So come with me on this journey into the mind of a madman. Einstein once said that the only source of knowledge is experience. From my experience, heading over to Warzone Hub is a great way to get your map knowledge for the DMZ. Now the interactive map for Ashika shows that there are 6 spawn points. Now the one you need to focus on the most is the one by the beach club, as you are in immediate danger from the one to the east closer to port. Now here's a little trick for the beach club spawn if you do come under fire straight away from that port team. Now get yourself in the water so you can break lines of sight and then work your way over to the next platform. Even without a scuba gas mask you should be able to do this quite easily. From there dive back under the water and make your way to the circular building. Now I do believe you had to come in here for an earlier mission. You can break the glass and then you can make your way up to the centre staircase. You can actually hide here for a little bit. This may be just enough to bamboozle that port team. Let them get bored and move on to their next victim. Recently I watched a video by the Tactical Brit. Now he talked about hotspots, early game and Warzone. Now we're going to apply this principle on Ashika, as most of us know from experience that teams seem to converge on the castle, the power plant, the apartments, the farm, the town centre, and then of course down at the beach club at that spawn. So you can use this information when you're trying to regain to your advantage. Okay, so we're not quite done with Warzone Hub quite yet. Now that we know where the spawns are and where some of the other players may be, we're going to check out the hidden caches. Now you'll notice that there's a fair few of them around the outside of the map. Now this can help you get some early game loot that it's pretty low risk, just to help you get that momentum going. Now the hidden caches themselves, you won't always get higher tier loot, but in the past I have found 3 plates, large bags, and off this spawn you can see I got a gold skull. Now from here I'm going to jump on a jet ski and I'm going to show you guys another little hidden spot just north of the water treatment out in the ocean, so it's pretty low risk. There's a crashed boat here. Now there's quite a few duffel bags, there's some crates underneath. Sometimes you can pick up some 2 plates and medium bags. Also another good place if you're still looking for cigar boxes and vases and all that kind of stuff for your passive unlocks on Ashika. When you're done with the boat you can make your way back to shore. Now I just swim in, I don't want to bring any attention to myself with the jet ski. And as we get to the shore we just want to stop, have a bit of a listen around, see if we can hear any gunfire. There's 2 more hidden caches here to either side of the entrance to the waterways. And if you hop up over the barrier there's a container there and another duffel bag. From there, just keep moving east. In the second hidden cache, I do find a cast-off 74U, which is actually the second fastest TTK AR in the game, so that's pretty helpful. And from here, we're just going to carry on around the coast of the map, heading towards the shipwreck area. So on my way to shipwreck, I decided to get a little bit brave and I thought I'd push into these southern castle buildings. Now while I was there, an enemy UAV tower went up, so I thought I'd just pause here and I looted around these buildings. Now obviously you don't want to bring any attention to yourself from the bots, so a suppressed weapon was ideal. I utilised the buy station while I was here to solve the gold skull that I picked up, and I threw a suppressor on my 74U that I picked up. And as you can see, just looting around this area, I found a ton of plates. And I just took a few minutes to double back and then just waited for that UAV tower to go down. Once I left the castles, I made my way to the shipwreck area, and as you can see, most of the early game loot has been left. Most teams have just pushed off, they're on their PvP quest. There are 3 more hidden caches in the area, and some of you may have noticed that earlier on I picked up the HMS Shipwreck key. Now the HMS Shipwreck key does hold another gold skull, which is another 8,000 towards my regain. It also holds the drifting supply bag key, which we'll touch on later. Now in the background, the Helo command is triggered onto another team. Effectively this becomes a free UAV, because it'll give you a bit of an idea where another team is. And at this stage I'd picked up 2 plate vests, but I still want to avoid them, so I'm just going to carry on my looting around the shipwreck area, and then when I'm done I'm going to start moving around towards the port. Right, once you get to the port you're just going to work your way around the tanks and the waterfront. There's a whole lot of duffel bags. I get lucky on this one, I find myself a large backpack. I also find a key to the castle, which we'll come back to later. But from there we're not going to muck around too much, we're just going to make our way around to the boat. Now come down and work my way up the zip line. Now the boat, it's already been looted, but I'm still going to have a bit of a scan around. People tend to loot this in a bit of a hurry, so I do tend to find a fair few plates and cash and other bits and pieces. And once we work our way through the boat, we're going to come down the other end where people tend to not loot because of the bots. You'll generally find as you work your way down the boat, you'll find a chest or 2 that hasn't been looted. And in my experience at the SAM sites here, the very last bot will always drop a Victus. Now, it doesn't have any attachments, but obviously the Victus is one of the most powerful sniper rifles in the game. So from there you just have to take it to a workbench, take it out with you, put it in your contraband stash, and then for these regain rounds you've got a fairly decent sniper. Okay, when I was finished on the boat, I made my way to exfil. I had to head all the way back around to pretty much where I spawned up on the beach just north of the farms. I used the workbench and I got my guns kitted out the way I wanted to, and then I come across poor Snoop Dogg, who I did murder in cold blood. Sorry Snoop. So as you can see from the gameplay, not very exciting, pretty boring to watch, but as you can see, you don't need a whole lot of skill. Just by understanding where people spawn and where the hotspots are on the map, you can get yourself kitted and geared back up pretty easily. Now earlier I mentioned a couple of keys. I don't bother too much with HVTs on Ashika just due to the time of the round, but we'll go back over those keys starting with the drifting supply bag. So the drifting supply bag, it's out in the ocean in the northwest top corner of the map. I only really mention it because you do need one of the masks inside for one of the passives. You can get down there without a scuba gas mask or a rebreather, but to be perfectly honest with you guys, it is a bit of a pain in the butt. So once you've done it the one time, I probably would give this one a miss. The masks used to be 25,000 each in the earlier seasons of DMZ. Now they're only worth 10,000 each. That's only 30k, which sounds like a lot, but to be honest, you can loot around and get that cash pretty easily. So next up in the town centre is the research centre room. Now this is in the H-shaped building. Sometimes it's a stronghold, sometimes it isn't. The room itself is upstairs in one of the corners just by a desk cubicle. Inside the room you'll find a couple of orange crates, some more lockers, some weapons, some cash, and on one of the desks you'll find a Building 21 coloured access keycard. In this playthrough I pretty much did it straight off the beach club spawn, but I'd recommend coming back later in the round when things cool down a little bit, but definitely worth checking out. Next up we've got the castle hideout. Now you can come in from the top and take out the Wilson and hack it to get in, but to be fair that's going to make a lot of noise. I prefer coming in from underneath from the waterways if you've got the key. There are a couple of juggernauts and a fair few bots, but you know, if you take your time it is doable. In this gameplay I picked up another solo player and we did it together, but I have done this multiple times solo. You just work your way up to the bomb maker and he does drop a 3-plate comms vest along with a ton of other loot, so it's definitely worth checking out. So where we're down in the waterways there's actually a hidden room. This is right next to the entrance for the castle where you go up from underneath. You'll see the submarine in the water. You jump off into the water, there is a hidden cache here, but if you turn around and look back towards the pier you should find a couple of circle like drain entrances with some broken mesh. Now do watch out, there's some booby traps there that you need to disarm. Then you'll swim through to a little room that have a couple of platforms. You have to do a bit of parkour. You jump through those and then you'll actually find a broken wall where you can jump through to the secret room. And I think there's like 2 or 3 orange crates in here and some weapon lockers. And then to get back out you just go to the door and the door automatically opens. So it's a pretty low traffic one. It's got some good loot, so I definitely recommend checking this one out. And there we have it, another one in the books. Hopefully you guys got some good tips, tricks, information out of this one to make your regains a little bit less painful on Ashika. If you found this helpful and or entertaining, let me know by dropping me a like and a subscribe. If there's anything else you want to see in future, or any feedback, drop it in the comment section below. And as always guys, until next time, I'll catch you out there in the DMZ.